Okay, in this clip I am going to show you a basic example of the mathematics of market equilibrium. So, the story is very simple. You have two equations, one representing the demand and two, the other one representing the supply. Notice the negative sign for the demand curve, which illustrates the inverse relationship between QD and price, and also notice the positive sign on the supply curve, which illustrates the direct relationship between price and QD. In fact, for the demand curve, which is illustrated here in this space where you have price and Q, the demand curve has a negative slope and the supply curve has a positive slope, right? Now, what do we mean by equilibrium? Well, in terms of a chart, like the one I have here on the screen, it basically means the intersection of the demand and the supply curve. This point E, represents the equilibrium point. That means the price that we are going to call PE, at which sellers and buyers agree to exchange, and QE, which is the amount that sellers and buyers agree to exchange at this particular price, PE. But the question is, what is the value of this price? What is the amount of these exchange quantities in the market? So the way to solve this is very simple, because we know that in equilibrium, quantity demanded has to be equal to quantity supplied. That's essentially the idea of this equilibrium point E. So all we need to do is to solve this system of equations. This is a system of equations, two variables, QD and price. So let's do it. This is basic algebra manipulation. So 10 minus 2p is equal to 2 plus 2p. All I'm doing is equating the first and the second equations. And then, well, you just simplify. 8 is equal to 4p. And solving for p gives you that price, the price of equilibrium actually, is equal to 2. So now that you have the price of equilibrium, which is essentially here, the value here, you can go to either the demand equation or the supply equation to solve for QD. So let's do both. This will be 10 minus 2 times 2 is going to give you a value of 6. Or if you substitute this number 2 in the supply equation, you're going to get 2 plus 2 times 2, this is going to give you 6. So the quantity of equilibrium is 6, which essentially is the value that goes right here. So there you have it. This very important relationship at equilibrium, quantity demanded has to be equal to quantity supplied, is all you need in order to solve this system of equations, which means that you find the price of equilibrium, PE, and the quantity of equilibrium, QE, which represent essentially this point right here on your chart, the intersection between the supply and the demand curve. So I hope this helps clarify a few things, and if it doesn't, well, once again, let me know.